New England is a region steeped in history, where every hill, forest, and crumbling building seems to carry whispers of the past. From shadowy figures on moonlit trails to ghostly ships flickering on the horizon, these lands are rich with tales of the strange and unexplained. I've spent years exploring these forgotten corners, not just reading the legends, but walking the trails, touching the walls, and standing where history and mystery collide. This book is my journey into the places that haunt our imagination, where the line between fact and folklore blurs. Lace up your boots, grab a flashlight, and join me as we delve into the heart of New England's haunted, historic, and hidden places. Well, guys, welcome back to Sasquatch and Sourdough. I am your host, Christina, and I don't know about you, but I am sick of summer and I'm ready for October. And I thought, what better way to start the spooky / harvest season than with my new friend, Joe Linus from Tales, Trails, and Taverns.
Awesome.
Hello.
You got it right the first time.
I got it right, yes. I actually wrote it down phonetically because I did not want to redo that. So welcome, Joe. I'm so happy to have you on here. I have stalked you on Instagram for about a year now, and we've talked about a collab.
Yeah, for a while now. Yeah, thanks for having me on. This is awesome.
And I know, I'm so excited, and it's happening. And that forward rather, is from your book, Haunted New England. Guys, I'm holding it up. Go buy this book, because not only is it filled with all kinds of awesome history and kind of like a narrative of Joe's experiences, but also if you buy one, I think he'll do a bunch of push-ups on Instagram, which is fun.
That's what I've been doing, yeah.
Yes. So it's I absolutely, well, that kind of made me that was a catalyst of all right, I should just buy the book. But I also love I don't know, New England to me just, I don't know. I just think of Cape Cod because I know you're from Cape Cod.
I'm from Cape Cod, yep.
So I think of that automatically, but I also think of especially around this time of year, I feel like fall and all the spooky stuff happens in New England first and then trickles down. Do you find that?
I mean, we've got the most beautiful fall season here in New England. Everywhere from Maine to Connecticut, everything looks absolutely gorgeous. When the leaves start turning, the crisp air starts blowing off the ocean, it's amazing. Yeah, it's a great place to spend fall if you haven't at some point.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's just what I think of, and then I just think of of course, now I'm in pumpkin spice mode, so I just think of all that sort of stuff.
Never mind that the entirety of New England is mostly haunted. The whole place, not.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to talk about fall foliage and pumpkin spice. That's where I go. But it is basically haunted. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And I was telling my son that, we start getting pumped up for fall season. I was like, oh, BF Clyde's going to be open again. That's the cider mill that's over in Mystic, Connecticut. And he's like, oh, that's the place, the cider, right? The cider the cider donuts, the cider cups, all the different apple cider, my jugs of hard cider that I buy there every year.
That's awesome. Yeah, we have places like that around here, but it's not, I feel I don't know. It's not as cool as you guys have it in New England for some reason. I don't know what it is. I just think of cozy New England sweater towns, but I might just be watching way too much Lifetime.
I just think of crabs when I think of Maryland and the ocean. You guys are right out there.
Yeah, I'm in Baltimore, and we do have, we have all the fun, Baltimore sort of legends and stuff like that. But yeah, crabs, definitely. And you guys have lobster, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lobster's big in New England, yeah.
And I don't like lobster. My son does. My 10-year-old just discovered lobster.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And
nice.
he thinks it's the cool, he's like, this is so much better than crabs. And I was like, oh, well, don't, excuse me.
No, my kid loves shrimp now. All of a sudden, the last few months, he'll be 10 in November.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, my son is a November baby too. So nice. Oh, I know. Awesome. 10's fun.
Yeah.
These crazy Gen Alphas, they're gonna rule the world. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. So I told you when when we were like in pre-roll that I have kind of a little surprise. I love when this happens naturally. It's really cool because sometimes I try to just do like a fun like icebreaker,
Yeah.
but this is so cool. So I stalked you on Instagram a little bit earlier today and I saw that you did an episode with Shell from Shell Spooky Stories, who we love over here. She is just totally crushing it.
She is, yeah.
And she is doing so I love her. She's just doing amazing.
She gave me
But
a
like,
huge bump. She gave me a huge bump in my my download numbers on my podcast. Even though we haven't
did she?
recorded anything all summer, we got a huge
That's
spike after she put her episode out. So
but that's
thank you, Shell.
great. I know. Shell, we
Yes,
love you.
we
Shell,
love
come
it
back.
absolutely.
I know. She's so great. But so one of your guys like reels or whatever, it said you were talking about that you have a relative that was in like had electroshock therapy.
Yes,
I
yep,
do too.
really.
We have that in common. And I thought that's the weirdest thing to ever have in common with someone you've never met.
That is kind of weird. Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Like,
I only learned about that within the last year or two too. I had no idea about that. You
it's
know,
crazy. And it was your grandmother?
it was my grandmother. Yeah, and this was after she passed that I even found out about it. My aunts finally started opening up about the stuff that she went through when she was younger. You know, when they were young.
Yeah. That's
You
crazy.
know, it takes a while for family to kind of open up about stuff that, you know, is a little hush hush when they're alive. But,
Well,
you know,
especially in that time. Like what year was she born? Do you know?
want to say oh, she was 95 when she passed. So I want to say like teens or 20s, something like that.
Okay. Yeah. And back in those days, you didn't talk about anything. And especially like, the kind of, I guess, I don't want to say like boomer generation, but like my parents, like they didn't talk about stuff. You don't talk about like those things. So my relative, so we're like in Baltimore and every year we go to the Renaissance Festival, like the Maryland Renaissance Festival is in a place called Crownsville. And so to get there, like it's just this little town, um, kind of right off, it's like right outside of like kind of like Annapolis, I guess you'd say. And so to get there, you have to go past, it's like called the Crownsville. I don't know if it's like sanitarium, but it was a hospital. And it's so crazy because the first year that we went, I told my mom like where the Renaissance Festival was. And like, you have to imagine, like, I'm all dressed up, like, ready to go, like, drink tankards and, like,
Yeah.
be all jolly and like a fairy. And my mom's like, oh, yeah, well, that Crownsville hospital, I had an aunt that was there and they used to do like electroshock therapy on her. Like, they shaved her head and, like, she's like painting this terrible picture of like this place. And when you drive by there now, it's totally abandoned.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's, like, not in operation or anything like that, but I was like, "Okay, that's kind of freaky," like, because my mom was, you gotta figure she was visiting her in, like, the '60s, so it's not,
Yeah.
you know.
Because a lot of these places, a lot of these sanatoriums and asylums, especially in New England, they didn't close till the 90s or the early 2000s. Like these places were
Yeah.
still in operation when I was a kid, you know, when I was young. And there's even some places, there's one I want to say in Connecticut where a bunch of the buildings are abandoned, but it's still an active hospital. There's still a bunch of buildings that are being used and function as, you know, as a hospital today. But
Yeah. It's just ugh, I don't know. That's actually one place when I drive by, I'm like, "Oh, this is creepy." I don't know if
yeah,
it's because of the relational aspect of it or if it's just, like it's probably just knowing, that's
yeah,
terrible stuff happened there. I mean, I don't know. I think that's just a terrible way of treating somebody for a mental illness, but that's just me.
yeah. One of the places I went to Brattleboro, Vermont, and there's a place called the Retreat Hospital. And there's a tower up on the hill that I want to say in the 1860s, they actually had the patients. They decided that hard work was good for mental health. And so they had the patients build a tower, and it's this massive 100 something foot tower up on top of this hill. And apparently what happened was they built the tower. They worked, you know, months and months, built the tower, and then a bunch of them just started going up the top of the tower and throwing themselves off afterwards.
Oh my gosh, that's
And so
awful.
this tower is still sitting. The hospital is still used today. I went to the campus and was walking around. I didn't realize I was going to an active hospital. I went, I saw the tower, which is very cool. It's super neat to see. It's got a weird vibe to it. It's way up on the hill and it's locked. You can't get into it. But then I went down to where the hospital was, down by the river, and there's people all over the place and signs that say, no pictures, don't, no
Yeah.
phone picture, no nothing, don't do this, do that, and walk here, walk there, all that stuff.
Yeah. Ugh. What an awful
Yeah, right.
history that is.
Here, do some work. And okay,
Yeah.
great. Now we have some ways to, end our suffering.
It's just like free labor. That's awful. That's so terrible.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, we went to so it was when what was the movie? House on Haunted Hill? I think it
Yeah.
was when House
That's
on Haunted Hill, yeah, the remake came out, and we went to, like, which I loved. I actually haven't watched that in a long time, but that's a really good movie. We went to there's this place called Rosewood, like, sanitarium in Maryland, and we were in high school, and it was, like, a bunch of us, and, of course, I was, like, you know, non-impressed goth girl that was like, "You guys are lame." And when we went, it was, like, perfect, like, this is this, like, classic stormy night. We drove, like, we weren't supposed to be there. We're
nice.
trespassing. There's all kinds of signs that say, like, "No trespassing." And we finally, like, break in, and everyone's got flashlights, and I'm just like, "Okay, we're gonna get in trouble." Like, at first I was like, "This is, like, stupid," but then I was like, "This is kinda like, we're really gonna get in trouble here." And there's also, like, asbestos signs. Like, I'm
Yeah.
being rational. Dude, we get in there and it's like all of this old hospital, like really, like the really high chairs and stuff like that. Like, it looked like it was from the 40s.
Yeah.
And this guy who was like the ringleader, this guy Steve was like, "Look under the bed. That's the ball they played with." Like,
Oh my
look
God.
at, like it was so
All
like,
dramatic.
come on, right? And I'm like, guys, meanwhile, don't touch anything or bring it home with you.
Yeah.
Like, because there were broken records and stuff. Like, so that was like kind of creepy. But then when I looked at the paperwork that was everywhere, it's like kids with special needs. And like,
Yeah.
at that time you would say like probably, you know, that they had whatever, I'm not going to say the R word, but like, they had special needs and they were like handicapped. And I was like, this is awful. Why are we here? I was like, I want to leave. Like, this is not the spooky thing that you promised us. But yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Do you ever get that sensation? Because I know you do a lot of, I wouldn't say like, it's not really like urban exploring, but you do a lot of abandoned places. Do you kind of like,
We
do you
do.
have a
Yeah.
process with that? Like, do you read the
Um,
history first or you just kind of hear about it and wing it?
so with the abandoned places, with the urban exploration stuff, that's more Rob than it is me.
Okay. Yeah.
So he usually likes to go there, explore it, then look up the history and get to, kind of understand like, oh, I went here, I went there. And his daughter is also she's sensitive in that. So she
Hmm.
sees things. She'll see spirits and she'll have things come up to her and talk to her. And there's been a couple times where she's seen something and he's gone back and started doing the research on it and found stories about it and like actually connected, the research and the history and the ghost stories to what she's seen while she was there.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
there's been a couple really creepy things that have happened as
Yeah.
far as that's concerned. Yeah, so his thing is usually like go there first, check it out, do the research, and then go back because usually what happens is he'll do the research and find out, oh, I only saw like a third of the place, or I only saw, so many buildings and there's this many more. And if I checked it out, if I stayed a little longer, I would have been, found more stuff. So he usually a lot of the places he'll go 2 or 3 times and kind of figure that stuff out as he goes. And he gets together with a bunch of other urban explorers as well. And
Okay.
so he's met people who do this, other urban explorers, and just kind of learn from them. And they'll tell him where to go. They'll tell him, they talk to each other about how to get into places,
Well, that's cool. Yeah.
what's easier to get into, what's not easier to get into, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I've gone on a couple of them with him, but I'm really anxious about going into places where it's like no trespassing.
I know, right?
I'm so anxious about it. Like it just drives me nuts. I don't like doing it. I pretty much won't do it by myself. Like I just can't bring myself to do it alone,
Yeah.
you
There's
know?
a lot of, I mean, there's kind of I think a mix, like, kind of like a split feelings about it. Like some, I think, I don't know necessarily like in paranormal circles, but like in just in comment sections that I've read, where people are urban exploring, there's like kind of, I guess they have their own sort of like set rules where it's like you really don't go to like certain places. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I would feel weird in general. I think in that vein of like, not so much I don't want to get in trouble, but it's just like, I don't know, like leave it alone, because
Yeah.
people vandalize. I think it's like that intention of like if you're going to vandalize or
Yeah.
stuff like that. At least in Baltimore City, and some of the pages I've gone through, where it's just like, okay, everyone found this hot spot, and then people went and trashed it. It's not
Yeah.
even like you went and took pictures. It's just like now it looks trashy. So
And there's a lot of them that gatekeep just for that reason, like to keep
yeah,
other people from going in there and trashing it, like kids going in there, they always say the teenagers, they go in there and mess everything up.
definitely.
But
Yeah,
then
I
there's
mean
also
that's
been the times where we gone into places. We went into one of the buildings that was at Norwich State Hospital, and we got up to
yeah,
the second floor, and then walked into this back room, and it was clear that somebody had been living there for a while. I don't had no
yeah,
idea if he had been there 10 minutes before or if he'd been there several months before, but like it was clear somebody was living there. And so it was like, all right, let's not go in there. And, Rob brings his daughter, and her daughter had a friend of hers with us. So we got a couple teenage, young preteen,
yeah,
teenage girls. And it's like, I understand you want to touch their stuff. Like you want to go and see what this is, but just leave this shit alone. Don't,
right, yeah.
don't mess with their stuff. And then the same thing
Be
happened at,
safe. Yeah.
yeah, be safe. And then the same thing, something similar happened at Fort Tabor. We went to New Bedford. There's Fort Tabor, Fort Rodman, and one of the old batteries is still there, and you can go in it, and there's a bunch of different rooms. It's very cool to see. And we went in there with a bunch of people. It was like a couple other urban explorers, and then
Hmm.
their kids. And we walk around the corner in this one room, and there's a tent there, and it's like all the kids
Wow.
want to see the tent. They want to walk up to the
People.
tent. And I'm like, what if there's somebody sleeping, like leave the tent alone. Just don't go near the tent. That's somebody's stuff. It doesn't matter if he's homeless or what his thing is. Just leave him the hell alone. we don't
Yeah.
want we
Right.
don't want
Don't mess with
altercations
it.
with people. We don't want somebody who's offers medication or something. We don't want somebody who's like trying to protect their stuff. Because stuff happens. Weird stuff happens, especially with people who are down to luck and living in places like this. Like they're probably not going to be friendly if you walk in and you start messing with their stuff. You know what I mean?
No,
So
that makes total sense.
that's
Yeah.
that's what really gets me anxious about going to places like this. I want to go
Like
places that,
safety.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like to go places that people go to all the time. They're like parks or, woods or trails, stuff that people go to all the time, but don't realize that there's a dark history. Don't realize that there's ghost stories, and don't realize that it's got a tragic past, and kind of dig into that and find out, you know, that's,
I like that better. I'm
that's,
with you. I'm
that's
with
more
you,
my
Joe.
side. Yeah. Cause I like
Yeah.
to be able to tell people like, oh, this is what I experienced, and this is how you can go there. This is what you can see when you're there. Like
Exactly.
we kind
Yeah.
of, can't, when we're talking about, urban exploration and going into places that are no trespassing, like we got to do the whole, hey, do as I say and not as I do. So
Right. Exactly.
do not
Yeah.
go into this place, but here's what you'll find if you do go into this place.
Right. Yeah. No, I totally get that. So okay, tell me. I want to hear. I think I have a suspicion, but I want to hear like your favorite like kind of woods story from your book. Like, tell me one of the best ones that's in there.
Oh, probably one of the good ones is probably the first time that I went deliberately hiking in the Bridgewater Triangle. We went to Freetown State Forest.
I knew that was gonna be it. Okay.
This is this is when me and Rob like first started hiking again, like because I was down in North Carolina for 10 years. Me and Rob served in the Marine Corps back in 2007. We served in Iraq, and then I moved to North
Oh, well, thank
Carolina.
you for your service.
Thank you. And so
Yeah.
I moved to North Carolina for 10 years, and then came back, and I got back and I got into hiking back up in New England. I mean, I hiked all the time in North Carolina too, but I got back into New England, was going all over Connecticut and Rhode Island, and Rob was like, "Oh, hey, I hike all the time. We should meet up and hike." And I was like, "Yeah, you live near Bridgewater, near Freetown. Like, I want to go hiking in that area. Like, I want to see that stuff. That's obviously everybody who's in the paranormal field knows that Bridgewater Triangle is
Yeah.
big time when it comes to haunted places. So he goes, "Oh yeah, I got a place to show you." I was like, "Come on up." So we get up there and we go off on this trail, and it's just like it's not a parking lot; it's like a gate on the side of the road, and it's just like a small little pull off. So we get off there, we hike about a mile down the trail, and we jump off the side of the trail, and he's like, "All right, we're here." And I see like a little gravestone. I'm like, "What the hell is this?" And he's like, "This is the pet cemetery. This is the old Fall
Oh my
River
God.
Pet Cemetery." And I started looking around. I see one of the graves looks like it's empty. Like there was something in it, but now it's gone. So I made a joke. I was like, "Oh, it looks like this one got away, you know?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Look around, man." He's like, that's why they shut the pet cemetery down is back in the 80s during the Satanic Panic. People were
Mm.
burying their pets here, and Satanists and people who want to do weird stuff with them started digging up all the pets and doing rituals and stuff with them. So as I'm walking around, like, place is massive. Like it at first, it just looked like one little spot, but as you start to look around, you realize that the woods are just full of grave sites, like full of
What?
gravestones spreading out all over the place. And about 90% of them are all dug up. Like there's a stone, there's a headstone, and there's a hole. Almost every single one of them.
Oh my gosh.
So it like
Ew.
disturbing. And
Ew,
of
that's
course
so
now
disturbing.
and of course now I'm mad. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with people? They're gonna
Right.
dig up somebody's pet, like, and then the other thought is like, what kind of demon are you gonna summon with Fluffy? You know what I mean? Like what you're not gonna get a
Right.
powerful demon with a little white cat that somebody loved dearly. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
I don't
Ew.
really know what you were trying to do, but
It's probably more like, I don't know, using like bones for things. I mean, I would imagine. I mean,
probably
I
the
don't,
witchcraft type stuff. And
right, exactly. Like, or whatever. Let me make a necklace. Sometimes it's probably like more like dares, too.
yeah.
I would imagine, but it's still absolutely awful.
So yeah, they
Leave
were
them
like
alone.
they stopped using it in 1989. I think they closed it down and stopped burying pets there.
Mm.
And I'd seen one gravestone that had like 1977 and then didn't have a burial date. And I'm like, are they still alive? And he's like, no, no, no. They shut the place down after.
Oh man! After somebody like bought the
Somebody
issue,
bought a
somebody bought a
very
plot.
elaborate headstone and bought a plot for their poor dog or cat, and never got. They had to bury him somewhere else,
Oh my gosh!
because of selfish Satanists or witches or
Selfish
whatever,
Satanist. Oh my gosh!
whoever was
What's
doing it.
wrong with you people?
Right?
That's insane. Yeah, I thought that would be one. Like, I read that and I was like, this is gross. Like, but I wouldn't put it past something that I would find. Like, there's a
Yeah,
trail around here where there's people. Now it does neighbor a cemetery,
yeah,
but I went completely back in the back and like off trail away from the cemetery and found an actual grave with like a grave marker, but no actual like indentations on it. So
yeah,
that's kind of something that I just can't. It's one of those things that I'd have to go to like a historical society or something.
yeah. And
But
I found stuff like that in North Carolina too. I'll talk about that after I finish up with the hike in Freetown.
oh my
So
gosh, yeah.
so after we went to the pet cemetery, after we did our whole thing with that, we kept hiking, and he took me. God, I think we did like 7 miles that day. And so like
Nice.
a few miles later, we come to this kind of crossroads. Like there's two just paths that cross in the middle of the woods, and there's a tree right in the middle of this intersection. And we walk up, and he stops, so I stop, and I put my hand on the tree, not knowing what the hell it is. And he goes, "This is it." And I'm like, this is what?" And he goes, "This is where they found Mary Lou Aruda's body in 1978, tied to the tree with her head off and surrounded by all her stuff in like a cultish type thing." And I'm like, "Oh my God."
Oh
Holy
my
shit.
gosh.
And so the story was this 15-year-old girl went missing in September, and then wasn't found for a month, I think. And then a couple of dirt bikers found her at this tree tied up. And the guy who did it, they caught him pretty quick. But the guy who did
Mm,
it, like, put all her stuff in sort of a makeshift. He wanted to do like a ritual type thing because he wanted to blame it on the Satanists and
mm,
kind of take the heat off of him, I guess, is what he was trying to do. So it wasn't actual satanic ritual, which that did happen out there, but
yeah.
that was something totally different. And so while we were there, I got a couple pictures of the tree. Like I got a couple pictures as we were walking around. We just kind of, he was telling me the story and I was just snapping pictures here and there. And later on, I had taken those pictures. There was this app on TikTok that was somebody was using to like see ghosts essentially. And it was like
Mhm.
a AI app, and it would take your pictures and it would change it to like sort of an AI drawing. But if there was, what they were saying was, if there's a ghost in the room, then the AI would put a ghost in the picture, would put a person in the picture.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
And so later on, I didn't have service while I was out there. So later on, I took that picture, those pictures of the tree, and I kept putting them through this AI app thing on TikTok. Every single time I put this picture in that app, it developed a woman at the base of the tree.
Oh
Every
my gosh.
single time.
That's crazy.
It never did not put a woman at the base of this tree. And I was like, okay, well, that's weird, but maybe it's the app, you know? And so I
Yeah,
decided to
like
like maybe it took that tree and it just kind of looked like a, you know, just decided to put a woman there. Maybe it always does that. So the
hmm.
next time I was out hiking it, I found a tree that looked really similar to it on the trail, like a bare tree open in the middle of the trail. I took a couple pictures of that one and I started running it through the app later on. Didn't do it every single time. Did it like
Okay.
half the time, you know?
Was it like the same figure
It
or
was the
no?
same. No, it was always
Oh,
different.
okay.
Like
Okay,
it wasn't
gotcha.
like the same figure or whatever, but it was just with that tree, with the Mary Learuda tree, every single time there was a woman at the base of that tree, every time I
Oh, that's
developed it through
creepy.
that app. Weird as shit.
Yeah. Oh, is there a lot of lore? Where so that part of the forest, is that like where is that, I guess, connected to? Like, can you paint a picture of like the actual like is it like in the triangle? Like
Yeah,
how does it work? Like where it
Freetown
is?
State Forest is on the southern edge of the Bridgewater Triangle. I think it
Okay.
goes from Lakeville to Fall River and then north towards Bridgewater. And then
Okay.
Taunton, the city of Taunton is kind of right in the middle of it. And so the
Gotcha.
Freetown State Forest is sort of like the bottom end of the triangle. And then the Hockomock Swamp is the northern point of the triangle, essentially.
Yeah.
And so
A lot of
Freetown
weird
State
stuff
Forest
happens
is like
around there.
yeah. And Freetown State Forest is like a 5,000, 6,000 acre forest. And it's
Mhm.
the old, the locals call it the reservation or the res because it's the Wampanoag Reservation area. It's all Native American land.
Mhm.
So they've got a bunch of stuff out there. Um,
Ugh, yeah. Are there any
they-
I don't even know if I like saying it. Ugh. Like any like weird Native American things like SWs out there?
so yeah, one of the hikes we did was out to the top of the Assonet Ledge, and
Mm, okay.
there's there's a legend about a Wampanoag princess or something that was waiting on her lover who died during a war, and so she went to the top of the Assonet Ledge and jumped off and killed
Mhm.
herself when he died in
Mm.
the battle or whatever. And now people they claim to see a woman in white standing atop of the Assonet Ledge, and then
Oh,
the overwhelming urge to throw yourself off sometimes happens. People who have
up on the ledge? Oh,
when you
geez.
get up on top of the ledge, yeah, apparently there's sometimes people who have no ill will towards themselves, who don't want to harm themselves at all, will get up to the top of the ledge and have the overwhelming urge, like the depression and the urge to throw
Yeah.
themselves off of the cliff. Yeah,
So
I didn't. I didn't.
that
I felt fine.
phenomenon. Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't get too close to the cliff because I'm like super afraid of heights. But like that whole like phenomenon that people have, like that experiencing that is linked to like a demonic sort of like
Yeah,
whispering or oppression. So
right.
I mean that probably makes sense in that area if there was a lot of I mean, you know how it goes. If there's a lot of bloodshed, iniquity, like all that stuff on the land, it's just going to resonate in the atmosphere.
Yeah, and there was a lot of bloodshed. That's where
Yeah.
majority of the King Philip's War happened, was in the Freetown State Forest, the Hockomock Swamp, in that area. I remember hearing somebody say, like, you know, it might have been the battle, it might have been where all the negative energy comes from and all the paranormal stuff happens because of that. But they're like, but what if there's something darker that's been there longer and that's why the
Yes.
battle happened there? Like, why more bloodshed happened there? Like, is that an area that's, because even the natives before the colonials showed up, Hockomock Swamp was, it's the spirit swamp or something, or the swamp of the spirits or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it is. I'm probably fucking it up, but it's
No, I mean, that like complete tracks in general. Like, I have a theory. We talk about this like all the time in like this like fringe space. Like, I really believe that the Native Americans were fighting something before anybody came over here.
yeah, because I mean they've been here. I mean,
And
10,000,
not
however many
themselves,
thousand
like
years. Yeah,
an actual spiritual like something, there was stuff here that
yeah,
they just totally had to deal with. Like, I mean, obviously I don't have any proof of that, and it's just, this is all
right.
for entertainment purposes, but like, I mean, it kind of, the more you dig into history, which
Yeah,
I'm sure like that's just kind of what happens. You're just like, wait a second. They weren't just killing each other over like land and tribal stuff. There's stuff that when you talk to Indians, they won't talk about, which
yeah.
is
And
why I said
there's
that's why
places
I
they
said
won't go.
SW. Like, yeah, I don't like saying that word, but we don't have to bring any of that stuff into it. But because I feel like that calls a lot of attention to those kind of spirits. Like, I definitely believe that. But
Yeah,
yeah.
and I mean that happens in other
Mhm.
places in New England. I mean, Bennington Triangle is a good example of it. Volunteer, the Pontiac State Forest is another good example. There's all
You
kinds of
cover
places
all
like
this
that.
stuff in your book, and like what I love about the way that you've like mapped your, I mean, I've like kind of gone through a lot of like supernatural kind of historical books, and what I like, the way that you kind of, you lay it out really easily so that I could easily sit and like read it at a campfire, but it's not just tell me a spooky story. It's, I'm actually hearing your firsthand account, but then I'm also getting some history. And I love that. Like, you did it very, very well. I know it's not your first book, but it's the first book of yours that I've purchased.
It's the first book about haunted places. The first book I wrote was fiction.
Yeah,
It's a sci-fi horror fiction. So that was just me being like, okay, I want to create something. That was a bucket list, check off a bucket list. I want to be a published author. Check.
for sure. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Right.
everybody says I want to write a book. Well, check the box. I did it.
Yeah. I do too. That's why I went to college. So I majored in poetry so I could write a poetry book. There you
There you
go.
go.
Never actually did it, but
No.
so okay, what else? I don't want you to like take us through the whole book. Is there anything that's like not in the book that you could share? Because I want people to buy it. Like, so I don't want you to like read the whole thing, but
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna we were talking about finding the grave site at random.
yes.
So there was a place in Sanford, North Carolina. So I moved down to Sanford. This was, I think I moved to North Carolina in 2009. I moved to Sanford in 2010, and I found this little spot, this little hiking spot that I loved there. I hiked there all the time. It was this place called the White Pines Nature Preserve. And the thing that I loved about it the most is like white pines are not natural to North Carolina. They are natural up here. They're all over.
Hmm.
You find white pine forests in New England everywhere. And so when I got down there, what happened is there's this spot in Sanford where Deep River and Rocky River come together, and the way the hills are formed, it's a little bit cooler than the surrounding areas, about 10 degrees cooler than everywhere else in the area. So
Hmm.
when the ice age happened and it kind of moved all the fauna, and it moved all the northern fauna a little farther south, and then when it receded, it had this little pocket of white pines in North Carolina. So these little guys are just there, and they're just living happy. Northern trees living happy in the south in this little commune. And so I got down there the first time, and I think the first time I hiked it, I smelled the white pines, and I was like, oh my god, this is home. Like, this smells
Mm.
like home. I love it here. And so I hiked I hiked that trail. I hiked every inch in that forest so many times. But I was there one time, and I just I walked off the trail to take a leak in the woods. And I just stepped off probably 10 feet from the trail. And as I'm standing there, I'm looking around, I see a stone kind of sticking up out of the ground. I'm like, okay, that's not normal. And I'm looking around while I see another one. And I see another one. And then I realize it's in a line, and then there's a row. And I'm like, oh, this is a cemetery. Like, this is an old
What?
cemetery out here. And then I realized, after I started searching around after that, I thought there was an old farmhouse up on the hill just off the property, not too far away. So I realized that
Mhm.
this had been settled. This was somebody's home at one point. So it was like a family plot or something. And I'm not sensitive to spirits really. Like, I don't notice anything.
Mhm.
Nothing really jumps out at me too often. Sometimes they do. Um, but this particular place, I hiked there all the time. And then as I was going there, I met and I got married, and I took her there all the time. I actually proposed to her down where the two rivers met. And after a while, she started going, "There's something weird with this place, right?" She's like, "There's something creepy about this trail." And I don't remember exactly what it was. I started to feel it, and then one time I went down there, and it was drizzling a little bit, and nobody else was in the parking lot when I parked there. And I started walking down the trail, and as soon as I started walking down the trail, I could hear voices. I could hear people talking to each other, and it sounded like I could almost make out what they were saying, but I couldn't quite make it out. And they always sounded like they were right around the next corner on the trail, like I was about to catch up with them. The entire loop trail, probably 3 or 4 miles, I heard voices in the woods the whole time, and got
Ugh,
back to the car. Nobody else was down there. There was nobody else there the entire time. After that, I was like,
that's
all right, this place
crazy.
is goofy.
Yeah, right?
And,
Ugh,
I tried like recreating that, like, okay, maybe it was the rain. Maybe it was, the way the leaves were, stuff like that. I've never had that
right.
happen again. Like, I've never heard voices like that. Something was there in the woods, and it was just out of range, just out of sight range or something. But I could hear it the whole time. I could hear people talking in the woods, and it was so distinct. And there were times when it was so loud I could almost make out what they were saying, but I couldn't quite hear it.
That's like the worst when that happens. I mean, it doesn't happen to me often. I'll hear sounds like that, like, "What is that?"
Yeah,
But never I mean, just when it's just out of earshot and then you think you're second guessing, like, "Am I crazy?"
yeah.
I would probably start psyching myself out at that point if I heard it the entire hike.
Well, because
Did it
I
start
kept thinking like when there was a corner or something, I kept thinking like, okay, I'm finally going to catch up with this group of hikers that is clearly in the woods with me. Like these people are definitely here.
Yeah.
Never caught up with any. Nobody was there.
Ugh. Did
Even
it
when the
start
trail
at, like
straightened out.
did
Even when
it
the trail
start at, like
straightened
you
out.
said it was 2 rivers? Like, it was a crossing? Did it start there, or
No,
is
no,
that
no.
just part of it? Oh, okay.
That's just part of like you sort of start up on the top of the hill and you walk down towards one river along the banks and then come up the other side. You know.
Okay, gotcha. Ugh, yeah. Oh, that's creepy. Hmm. Did your fiance at the time, did she have, like, any other inklings, or was it just that, like, just a creepy feeling?
No, she's one of those people of like, don't tell me about ghosts. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see
Yeah,
it. I don't want to know about it.
right.
You know, don't tell me
Yeah,
stories.
I don't wanna know that it's there.
I don't want to know that anything's there. Yeah.
Did you dig into the history? Did you find anything weird about, like,
I
the
didn't,
history of
I,
that area?
I didn't find anything about it. I didn't find anything about the farm or
Hmm,
about anything that happened there. No, but that's not the only place. I mean, there's other places in North Carolina. It's one of the reasons I got into like the whole hiking and spooky trails and haunted forests is because of Raven Rock State Park.
mhm,
There's a trail there that I think I was dating a girl who worked there, who actually worked at that park. She was like a maintenance tech or something.
mhm.
And she was like, "Oh, if you ever notice that Northington Ferry Trail, nobody's ever on it." I was like, I mean, I've been down there. I noticed if there's not a lot of people on it. She's like, "Yeah, that trail is haunted. People don't go down there." And she later on told me that she could see spirits. She was gifted. She told me, I could see dead people essentially at
Ugh,
some point. And so she
ugh,
could see it, but she was like, "Oh yeah, people hear voices in the woods, and she's like, I've seen things down there. That trail is haunted. That's why, you don't see a lot of traffic on that trail. You see
yeah,
traffic, and there were grave sites on the trail. So that was like it was Northington Ferry Trail, and it was James Northington, I think, was the guy who owned it, and there was a ferry at the end of the trail, and it was the main road between Raleigh and Fayetteville
okay.
in North Carolina, and it crossed the Cape Fear River down there. And the guy had a general store, and apparently the story was that he got drunk on New Year's Eve, rode his horse into the house, up the stairs, out onto the balcony, and then fell off the horse off the deck
Oh my
and landed
gosh.
on the ground. And then a few weeks later, died from his injuries.
Oh, that's awful.
And so his gravestone and his family grave plot is right there along the top of the trail as you're going down there. And apparently you could find the general store, I think, or the house. The foundation is still
The
there.
foundation? Oh, that's neat.
She told
Yeah.
me she told me it was there. She said she knew where it was. She never took me there, and I tried to find it time and time again. I never found it.
Hmm. That's ki I kinda like that stuff when you're on trails. There's a couple, trails in kind of like north of where I am now, where you can
Yeah.
find like foundations of houses and stuff
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. And it's really, I think that's just awesome.
Yeah. I love that. I went out hiked. There's a hike in Exeter, Rhode Island here that goes out to a abandoned summer camp. So you go out there and
Yeah.
there's
The
like an
stories
old,
in the book too.
yeah, it's in there. And and so I went down there and I was walking around Breakneck Hill, no, not Breakneck, Breakheart Pond.
Hmm.
And so I started down this trail. I never walked that particular direction, but like no sooner as I got in the woods, I found this beautiful old foundation in the ground,
Hmm.
old colonial era foundation just right there. I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is so
It's
cool.
so cool. I know. I love that stuff. I always want to like the last time we did a hike like that and my husband and my son and I found like the foundation of something. My son and I are always the first ones that want to like go in the foundation and like just
Yeah,
kind of, which then I'm like, well, no, maybe not. Like, one, it might be dilapidated and we'll get hurt. Or two, I don't know if it's like creepy or, I don't know. Sometimes you just don't
right.
know the vibe.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Sometimes you don't want to disturb the spirits that are there. Other times it's like, okay, I gotta check it out. Yeah,
right.
not, I found it.
And just,
Okay, I'm gonna walk in your basement for a minute. I don't mean any harm. Sorry, Amir. Not trying to bother you. Just I gotta see it. I gotta walk down these little stairs, a little
just in
stone
the basement.
staircase into the dirt. It's awesome.
Yeah. You guys like that on the podcast you guys talk about like how like houses are built and stuff like that. Like I never take that into account
I
with
can, yeah.
things, I guess, but what were you I can't remember which one I was just listening
We did.
to.
We went to the S.K. Pierce mansion, and S.K.
Yeah.
Pierce haunted Victorian mansion in Gardner, and me and him we recorded while we were in there.
Ugh.
Like they give you 30 minutes. They do the hour tour and they give you 30 minutes to walk around the mansion afterwards. And I don't know if they do it anymore because the mansion went up for sale a couple of months ago.
Oh,
But
really?
so, yeah.
Hmm.
But so we went in there and we got our microphone. I got lapel mics on
Mm-hmm.
and we're walking around. I'm in awe of like the hinges, the artwork on the hinges of the
I
doors was
know.
gorgeous. And then the marble on the fireplace and the place it was amazing. They said it took 100 men 3 years to build this
Oh my
house.
gosh.
And then his wife died 2 weeks after they moved it.
Oh. Hmm. Yeah, I love thinking about like not so much architecture, but I appreciate how houses were built,
Yeah.
like and just well built. I mean, now it's like everywhere around here. It's like Ryan homes. They're built in a day.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think it's probably because my mom's a real estate agent and she like appreciates that stuff too. Her father was a contractor who built up a lot of Fells Point in Baltimore. So she
Okay.
kind of always like, it's like kind of part of her lineage to care about the way houses are built. So I kind of guess I picked up on
Yeah.
that too. Oh, you guys were talking, that's what it was. You were talking about the Conjuring house
Yes.
and you guys, oh my gosh, that was a great episode. Uh, I have so
Yeah.
many problems with the Warrens every time I think about like all of that stuff. Um,
Yeah. They're kind
ugh,
of like, it's kind of hit and miss with them. I mean,
they,
yeah, they
I think
probably
they
did
did,
some good, but they probably
yeah,
also did a lot of
did a
stuff
lot
for
more harm.
money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys were talking about that in that episode. And I thought that was, I mean, you were just kind of talking about how it used to look versus like what they were doing, like did to it now. And that there's like now,
Right.
I guess you can rent it out.
You
And
could. Um,
okay.
so the end of last year, the beginning of this year, the woman who owns it, she got shut down by the town of Burrillville. She could no longer have anything.
Okay.
They took her business license away, and she had a bunch of problems. Like we went there and we stayed a year ago in June, and this
Yeah.
is
It was
right
a while
after she
ago.
had fired everybody who worked there. She fired everyone who worked there, and she claimed the spirits told her that some of the people there were stealing money from her. So
Oh
like
my
she kind of
goodness.
threw everybody out. This has been like this huge point of contention. I'm always seeing what is it, Jason Hawes and Satori Hawes. They're always on social they were on social media for a while talking about it because she worked there.
Hmm.
Some of the other people that they knew would work there, and there was a bunch of stuff. We were there right in June, right in the middle of it. Like it was right after she had
Hmm.
kicked everybody out. And yeah, so we went there with Scott Ryan from Beyond the Shadows and Kevin with Where the Weird Ones Are. We all
Yeah.
got to spend the night in the house together. Yeah, I got to meet those guys. That was the first time I met all them. after
Yeah, that
going
was
for a
cool.
while. It was very cool. It was a lot of fun. Um, but the house, it must have been the hottest day of the summer. And there's
Ugh.
no air conditioning in that house. They hadn't set up, they didn't put in any of the window units. The house was like 110 degrees inside. Um, she told us there was no alcohol allowed. And I'm like, I'm just going to go out and have a beer in my Jeep then. I just won't bring it to the house. I don't know what to tell
Right.
you. She made us sign forms saying that like we wouldn't talk about the stuff without consent from her to make sure that
What, that you
every,
experienced?
no, it's just
Oh,
because you're a podcast, they're like, okay, well, anything
I
you want to
see.
put out about the house, you need to run it by me first. And
Hmm.
so we're like, no, I'm not doing
I
I
don't
don't
know.
care.
Is that legal? I don't know if you can you do that? It's not like
I
an
don't,
NDA. What?
I don't know. It's pretty much
Yeah.
not. Yeah. But we actually we recorded a whole bunch of stuff with Scott, Ryan, and Kevin in the basement while we were there. And uh, Scott said he lost half the audio. So did,
Really?
he was never able to put it out because half of the stuff was gone. Half the audio was gone. All he had was me and Kevin talking on one mic. Him and Scott and Ryan were not in the episode at all. So he's like, can't put that out. You can't put half an
Right.
episode out.
Yeah. What was the vibe like in there? Was it, I mean, because
Most
the
of the
base,
place was good. Most of the
yeah.
place was fine. The kitchen and dining room for me was, I kept having to go into the kitchen and dining room area to go to the fridge or whatever and grab a drink. And every time I walked in by myself, I didn't want to be in there. It was like,
Hmm.
there's something in this area. But like the library that they say has a bunch of stuff. Everybody talks about being in the library. That's just this one little room off to the side. I'll fell asleep in there, you know. Russ sat down on the couch at the library. He passed out.
I don't know him, but from what I hear of him, like what I've heard of him on your show, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
He just like fell asleep in the haunted library.
I think I fell asleep for like an hour upstairs. I was in one of the bedrooms upstairs and just laid on top of the bed and I was like, all right, I gotta get some sleep.
Yeah.
We've been here all night. We're gonna be here all night. Like, I gotta get at least a little shot. I see if I have any weird dreams because usually if something's gonna happen to me, it's gonna happen when I'm asleep. It's gonna happen in a dream. I'm gonna have some weird
Yeah.
stuff come to me, but nothing happened. I slept for an hour peacefully. It was fine.
Crazy.
And then there's a living room where supposedly when they were doing the exorcism, the woman was picked up
Hmm.
and thrown out of the room. That was in a living room. That nothing really happened. Nothing happened that I noticed in there. Even with they had a fake Annabelle doll. They had like a recreation
Mm.
Annabelle doll in there in the
No.
box, with the do not
Mm-mm.
open, do not touch, you know.
Yeah, that whole thing is crazy.
Yeah,
Mm.
Scott had a weird experience while we were there though.
Yeah.
We were all outside. And so when you go in there, they had like the first room you walk into that was right off of the living room. And then over towards the left, she had like a room that had a bunch of swag in it. And then she had the room that she was staying in. The owner was there that night. So she was staying in this room off to the left of there, where like the garage area, I guess, would have been. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so Scott was walking, he said he was walking around the back of the house and he saw the curtain where she was staying. He saw the curtain open and somebody looked out at him while he was walking
Mm-hmm.
by. And he was like, oh, this woman's just being weird and just looking at him. And then he started walking down to the backyard where the rest of us were. I think like me and Kevin were down there. We were live streaming on Instagram. I was live streaming on Instagram. And that's when he saw that she was out walking her dog. She was down the
Ew.
trail, the other side of the yard, walking her dog. And so he asked her about it later. He was like, is someone staying here with you? Or is it just you? And she was like, oh, it's just me. So
Ugh. No, no, thank you.
that was the only really weird thing that happened. Besides the way the kitchen and dining room felt, the well was
Yeah.
cool. I thought the well was awesome.
Yeah, that was, you said that in the
Super
episode. I was
yeah.
weirded out by that because you were right. Like the water, I don't know. There's so much energy in water. And
Yeah.
you'd think having that energy kind of going through that house, but nothing, huh?
Yeah. No, nothing, like I said, except for the weird feeling in the kitchen that I don't want to be in there. Or in the
Yeah.
dining room next to the kitchen, yeah.
What if she just because now she's like lost the business or whatever. What if she just like set all that up? Like the creepy window thing. I don't know.
Or she might have. I don't know.
She might have, but I don't want to ruin somebody's like haunted tale. But I'm skeptical. I think on the front end of things, unless I not so much like unless I experience it. Like I don't know. I always
Yeah,
kind of want to rule things out before we over supernaturalize everything.
right.
You know, I don't know.
But like,
Ugh.
I'm not a paranormal investigator, so I don't have all the tools
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Like,
exactly.
I
Yeah,
don't go there for that. I go there to experience it, to see what the place is like. Like,
yeah,
these haunted places, they're cool to go to. I think they're awesome.
yeah.
You know,
I respect that. Yeah,
we
I don't
take
want to
pictures and stuff.
mess around with anything. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't like to. I don't like to do. I try not to touch it. I don't take rocks. I will not take things from. Well,
Mhm.
except for I've got a piece of coal from Centralia. Was part of the anthracite coal from
You've been
Silent
to
Hill.
Centralia?
Yeah.
What? Oh my gosh. Did you hear my episode on Centralia?
No, I didn't hear your episode.
Oh my gosh, I did one. Oh, yeah, with
I'll have to listen to it.
my friend from Crime to Burn. Oh my gosh, it was
Oh,
really it
yes.
was yeah.
I have
Yeah.
heard because I listened to her 5 episodes on Centralia.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
know
Ugh,
it's anthracite coal and not some other
exactly.
type of coal.
I know. Oh my God, I love her too. Oh man,
I think
that's one
I
place.
messaged her about that because I was like, yeah, I've been to Centralia. Like it's a weird place because like there's nothing there, but you can still smell the smoke. You can smell it
It's insane.
in the air there. Yeah.
I don't go there because it's like it can't be that far away. It's probably just laziness on my part, but it's like, and also I don't want to fall through a hellscape. Like, let's not do that. Like, I would
Yeah.
be afraid of falling through but
There were some
that's
spots that looked
crazy.
like you could fall into the earth in there, but I mean, for the most part, we just stayed on the roads and the trails, and
Hmm.
everything was fine. And it's cool to go to, like absolutely 100%. I would go if you haven't gone, but it's not the ghost town that it used to be back in the
Sure.
'90s. There's 2 houses there, and some people live in these 2 little houses. And there's a road. The main road runs right through the middle of town. Like people drive right through the middle of this town all the time.
What?
Oh yeah, like it's not off of anything. I mean,
That's crazy.
the painted highway is covered in dirt mounds now. You can't, you can walk down it, but it's all covered in dirt. You can't see the
The
graffiti
graffiti and the
all over
paint.
the road.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
but yeah,
Now it feels
the
ruined.
main highway still drives right through there. It's kind of like okay, well it didn't really live up to the hype, but still cool to go to.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like that's very safe because it's supposed to just like cave in at any moment. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
There are
yeah,
some
but no.
spots. There are some spots in the woods that have signs that like no hunting, do not enter.
Hmm.
So there's probably some spots where they had dug out, and they might be closer to the fire than other places.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because yeah, I remember she was saying there's like still people that live there
Yeah,
that
but
like won't.
there is coal everywhere. Even when you walk into the woods, you can see just it looks like just black rocks. The hillsides are it's just coal. I mean, I picked this piece up just off the ground on the trail. It wasn't. I didn't dig
Crazy.
for it or anything. It's just the whole
Right.
place is cold.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
doubt that your coal is haunted. That's fine. You'll be fine. No, but I definitely wouldn't go like I wouldn't I mean I personally wouldn't go to like Gettysburg and like take like a
But
piece of
no.
nature back. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I wouldn't go anywhere that's like supposedly haunted or whatever and just take
Yeah.
stuff. Like no thanks.
Yeah. No.
I'm kind
I'm
of
not.
more, and I agree. Like, I'm not really, I also don't like the idea of making money off of these places. Like, sometimes that just really, really bothers me. Like, as much as I love spooky stuff and I totally get the appeal, I'm just kind of like, if we know it's haunted, why don't we like get rid of the ghosts and make it not haunted anymore? Like, because then we wouldn't make money off of it. Like,
Yeah.
some places are really touristy like that. And I kind of just, I don't know, it hurts my soul, I think,
Some
the older I
places are.
get, you know?
Although on the other hand, it's like places like Penhurst Asylum. Like
Yeah.
we've gone out to the Paracon a couple of years in a row. That's why we went to Centralia. That's why we went to Gettysburg. We're already in Pennsylvania, and so we're
Hmm.
like, this place is only a couple hours away. We'll just add that to the trip. But that place is like they're making money off of their haunted tours and their ghost tours, and they have like a haunted house type attraction that they do there during the
Yeah.
Halloween, the spooky season. but they're using that to fix the place back up and kind
Right.
of bring the history back out into the light again, so they've got the museum in there now, and they've got all the buildings are getting cleaned up, and they're getting new roofs, and they're being, restored and kept up, which
Yeah.
is, I feel like that's a great thing that you're going to do. I mean, if you're going to make money off of it, like, do good with it,
Yeah, no, I totally I agree with that for sure. They're just like the privately owned places where it's just kind of like so this is kind of funny because you did an episode with the Lizzie Borden house,
Yes.
and I coincidentally was just talking to people about like the anniversary and kind of the whole history of, they didn't want that trial to get out because they didn't want the town to like suffer from, like the bad publicity. And yet, ironically, now that's like all the town is like this, like, and you guys are so close to there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. We've been there. I mean, because Rob's gone on the tour there. I've not been in the Lizzie Borden house, but I went to the
yeah,
Little Lizzie coffee shop next door, got a coffee there, put
right,
the tip jar in put my tip in the jar that said Lizzie is innocent,
right. Oh
you
my
know,
gosh. I
and,
don't. I think she's guilty. I think she totally did it.
so, oh, I got a funny story about that. So probably like, 20 years ago or so, my aunt got married to a guy named Robert, and I knew back then his name, it was Robert Borden, right? And I knew back then it was Borden. Every once in a while I thought about it like, oh, maybe he's a Borden. I don't know.
Hmm.
It might be a popular name. And then I found out he was from New Bedford, and I was like, well, that's kind of close to
Oh,
Fall River.
yeah.
Maybe he's part of the family. I don't know. And then last year I was up at their house in New Hampshire, and I go in to use the bathroom downstairs, and I see this thing on the wall, and it's got like a bunch of like hand drawn pictures of axes. And it's like, this is a carpenter's axe, this is a woodcutter's axe. And then it's got one that says, this is a kitchen axe as used by Aunt Lizzie. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Are you kidding me? I was like, no
I just
way.
got chill.
And I went back out.
Ew.
I went back out of the living room, and I was like, so Robert, Aunt Lizzie? He's like,
What?
yeah. He's like, yeah, my son made that in college, one of his classes. He did a project. I was like, so you're actually a Borden? He's like, yeah, she's like an eighth cousin or something, like, cousin 8 times removed or something like that. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I was like, so at one point during the night, I'm like, so Robert, listen, what does the family think?
Exactly.
What's the family
the
consensus
family? What's the
on
family
it?
tea here?
He goes,
What did Auntie Lizzie do?
the Irish maid did it. And I'm like, oh man. And this is where it gets even weirder, right? So you mentioned that, I put that post out. I put a post on Instagram about the
Mhm.
anniversary, right? So I put that out, and then my aunt comments. She goes, Nene used to say, and Nene was her mom. I used to call my grandmother Nene. She goes, Nene used to say that her mother was cousins with Bridget Sullivan, the Irish maid from the Lizzie Borden thing.
Ew.
And I'm like,
What?
wait a minute. I'm like, hold on. Stop the presses here. Are you telling me that we're related to Bridget Sullivan from the Lizzie? So you're telling me not only do I have a Borden in my family, but I'm related to the Irish maid from this? I was like, okay, this can't be. This has got to be BS. Like, this has got to be just, fantasy. And so I jumped on ancestry.com and I started digging, and I realized, okay, so my great grandmother is a Sullivan. Her maiden name was Sullivan. She is from Fall River. I'm like, okay, I gotta find this even. I gotta keep digging, and I haven't made a definitive connection, but I have found Bridget Sullivan's father's name. I found somebody in my family tree who matches that name and is about the same age and has a daughter that was born about the same time that Bridget Sullivan would have been born. So I haven't been able to 100% connect the two, but there's
That's
a pretty
crazy,
fair
dude.
chance that my family is related to Bridget Sullivan from the Lizzie Borden murders. So
Dude,
now I'm
that's
like, now I got to
wild.
go back to Robert and be like, it was probably Lizzie and not the maid, because
Right, exactly.
like now I have to
Well,
defend the Irish maid because I realize Irish maid is cousins with my great grandmother.
oh my gosh. Yeah, okay, that's insane, dude.
It's so weird.
Because it's both of like the suspects. Like they didn't suspect her sister. Like
Yeah.
she wasn't a suspect. It was
No, but
Lizzie, and then it was the maid
yeah,
was like
and like,
one of yeah,
well, there was also the brother, right? There was
and the
Andrew's
brother.
brother, the uncle, or whatever. I mean, from what Rob was like, Rob did the episode on Lizzie Borden because he went to
Yeah.
the house and did the tour, and from what he was saying, like everybody who was there, who was in proximity, everybody benefited from Andrew's death. Everybody did.
Yeah.
The uncle did, the maid did, Lizzie did, her sister did. Everybody who was there benefited from that. So, was it just one person acting? Was it Lizzie acting one way? Did they all collaborate to do something? Because they knew,
Yeah.
$7 million was a lot of money back then in
Oh yeah,
1860.
that's right. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They got his whole inheritance. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go. I would have to go see that. That would be one that I would think I would probably want to visit. Is the Lizzie Borden house.
Yeah.
Just for the like the museum and the history.
Yeah.
Like not to buy the swag, like
Yeah.
but
And
to
like,
see like the actual like history of it. Because I'm sure there's stuff that you're not gonna find on the internet, like
yeah. And that's another one that's like, is it okay to make money on this stuff? Because like that
right.
house, Rob was telling me when he was a kid, that house was abandoned in Fall River. Nobody was living
Yeah.
there. Him and his dad went in that house when nobody was living there. And he was like, oh, this is the Lizzie Borden house. And he's like, I remember walking around that house as a kid because it was just nothing was happening there.
Dilapidated. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
It was just
crazy.
run
Yeah.
down,
And now you can like stay in it as a
Now
bed
you
and
can stand, and
breakfast
now it's $400 for a night
for a
in the
night. Yeah.
stepmother's room, yeah, or whatever room you want to be in.
Ew, no.
And apparently they have like cutout figures. They have like fake axes and stuff that you can play with.
Yeah.
You can pretend that you're murder.
It's a little too much.
Yeah, it's much. Like just keep it respectful, man. Come on.
Right. I know. I mean, these people were hacked to death. Like,
Isn't it horrific enough already?
It's awful. Like, ugh. But that's so crazy because like you have either side is either a Borden or a Sullivan.
Yeah,
I want to hear
I
more
mean,
about this. You have to inform us when you find this out.
and if I if I could find, because I don't think there's nothing about Bridget. Like there's some
Yeah.
places that say her name or I mean her parents' name, but other than that, it's very much like what did she do after the murders and what was her life before that? Like nobody really knows. There was a lot of moving back and forth between Ireland and the Americans back then.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like an Irish maid is not gonna. She's got enough to lose just being an Irish maid in America at that time.
Right.
Like, come on. She's not gonna hack her and play her to death. Like, oh my gosh. So, that's crazy. Oh, Joe, that's amazing. Do you have any other tales you want to tell us while you're here? Because this has been a lot of fun. I know you have a lot, but to kick off spooky season.
Kick off spooky season.
Or you can tell us like if you're gonna like you have any plans coming up, like places you're gonna go and places that people should go.
Okay. So stuff coming up. I don't think I've got a whole lot of stuff. So I started this one of the things I did was I decided to start a hiking group. So I don't know if you ever heard of meetup.com. So it's one of those places where people can get together. So I started a group on there and I did a couple hikes back last fall and last winter time frame. I haven't done anything in the summer because it's just too hot to go hiking in the summer. The bugs are crazy. So I'm starting that back up again. I'm doing a hike. Again, I'm going out to the abandoned summer camp this weekend. I don't think anybody signed up for it yet. Maybe it'll just be me again, but
that's kind of cool. So are you taking people on like tours or are you just let's go hang?
Just like, hey, let's go hiking. So I'm taking a couple people out to the Hell Hollow loop trails out in Pawtucket State Forest. That's where like there's the Witch of Hell Hollow. There's the girl that stands on the side of the road, and there's a colonial soldier that haunts one of the roads. And there's supposedly one of the stories is there's a dark mist that follows hikers through the woods in that area. Pawtucket is full of ghost stories.
Yeah.
And it's not that far away. I didn't find this too long ago. It's like 30 minutes to an hour drive from here. And it's just crazy. Super haunted.
Yeah.
So we took a few people there. And it was just like a very simple, like, we're going to go, 4-mile hike. We're going to check out, there's a place called Devil's Den. So one of the hikes, it took a couple women out there, and we just walked around and found the because I had never seen it before. I was like, I want to find this den. Don't mind me. I'm gonna
Yeah.
walk off the trail here for a minute and just start looking around, see if this rock formation is actually Devil's Den or not. But
Did you find it?
it's yeah, I found it. Yeah,
Oh, cool.
it's very
Nice.
cool. It's just like this rock formation that sticks out, and it's got like a cave kind of just like overhanging, and there's like this little cave in the side of a hill.
Oh, don't go into any caves and hills.
But
No. It's a portal. Please don't.
yeah, right. But oh yeah, that was another thing I wanted to say. So one of the times I went out there, I wanted to find Maud's grave. So there's a tale about the Maud named witch that lives out there. And so I found how to get there and I figured it out. And so on the way there, I'm walking down the trail and I see like this little offshoot trail. And I'm like, what the hell? What is this? I gotta see what this is. And I walk like maybe 20 feet into the woods and I turn to my left and there's these two massive pine trees. And it just looks like a gate, right? In the woods. And it's just these massive pine trees and there's no branches in between them. So it just looks like this great big, like Lord of the Rings style gate in the woods. And I'm like, okay, this is a fairy portal or something. Like
Exactly,
I'm walking
yes.
into something. And then just through them, I could see like this little clearing, this big rocks in the middle of it. I was like, well, obviously I'm going in there. And I walk in there and I walk up to this rock and there's like, the rock has this formation in it. And I like wipe all the stuff off the top of the rock. And there's a seat in this rock.
What?
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sitting on this, checking this out. I sat up on the rock and I'm like, just kicking my feet, kind of looking around, going, this is like something's gonna happen to me or it's not. But this is awesome. Like something is definitely calling
You found
out.
Rivendell. It was Rivendell. Yes.
Absolutely. And then I walked further on down the trail and I crossed the little river and you get to where her grave is and the family's old farmhouse foundation, and it was very creepy when you walk over the river, you walk over the little stream there. It's like the feeling changes in the area, and it was like, all right, something's out there, and I just
That's like on her, like on her side, like past, like where her grave is.
like
Oh,
on her
wow.
side, because she was the one. The girl was the one who was buried close to the farm, so that her mother could see her, instead of being in the family plot that was on the other hill or whatever. And so you get up there and there's a weird change in the air. It's very cool though. So, I go up there, just kind of pay my respects and just, I'm not here to bother anybody. Please leave. Don't follow me out of here. But I just wanted to see. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
All right. I wanted to take a quick video. Sorry. Let me to bother you. Leave it down.
I'm getting out of here now.
Don't come home with me. Stay here.
Right. Oh, that sounds awesome though. Oh, yeah. Fairy portals. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was super cool.
That's awesome. Well, Joe, this has been a lot of fun.
This has been awesome.
I really appreciate you coming on, and I can't wait to go on your show and talk about spooky things and possibly Gettysburg.
Yeah, I want to hear about Gettysburg. I didn't spend enough time there.
No, you have to spend you have to, told you, it's got to be like 2 days. You can't. There's so much to do. It's amazing.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would love to have you come on again, for sure.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me. This has been a blast.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to tell everybody, first of all, everybody, go buy this book for spooky season. Do it now. Yes, see, do it. Do it now. Look, there he is. He's going to do so many push-ups. It's going to be incredible.
I hope so. All the push-ups.
Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Okay, so you can find Tales, Trails, and Taverns anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple, iHeart, Spotify. You can find us on all the social medias. I've got a page anywhere you look. You can find us online at talestrailsandtaverns.com. And if you want to contact me, you can either DM me through Instagram. That's the best way. I have the most people in there. I'm most active on that one. You can also email us at talestrailsandtaver@yahoo.com. If you have any stories, you want to talk about something, you want to point me in the direction of checking something out, because part of the niche of our podcast and our website and our stuff is that we go to all the places that we do the podcast for. We get eyes on it. We like to see these places. We like to experience it firsthand and tell you about it afterwards. It's the adventure for us. So that's what it's all about.
That's awesome. Yes, adventure. I love it. Thank you so much, Joe.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Guys. Yes, and thank you guys for listening. Remember, the truth is out there, God is with you, and everyone always ends up in the kitchen. You have been listening to Sasquatch and Sourdough. I'm Christina, and thank you so much for tuning in. Sasquatch and Sourdough is so much more than just a podcast. We're a community of kindred spirits, united by our curiosity and fascination with the extraordinary. And we want to bring you into the conversation. So whether you've had a brush with the unexplainable, seen something that you can't quite wrap your head around, this is your space. We invite you to join us as we break bread and break down the barriers between the known and the unknown. If you want to share your story, you can email us at sasquatchandsourdough@gmail.com or send us a DM on Instagram. Until next time, remember, the truth is out there, God is with you, and everyone always ends up in the kitchen.